This is one of my favorite products here, and this is Mehron's Rigid Collodion. You can see how it looks here. If I put my hand right next to it, you can actually see how it divots inwards and how it's pulled my skin in a bunch. This stuff has a really strong odor to it, so make sure you're using this in a well-ventilated area. To use this product first, we're going to want to have a nice clean surface, along with also too, I'm going to remove the hair that is on this side of my cheek, just so it's not going to pull when I remove it. Easiest way to do that is to grab some lotion, hydrate that little bit of skin there, take a shaver, and take off the hair there to create a nice, even surface. Now we're going to wipe off one side. Now we're going to take some isopropyl alcohol, clean this side off. That's going to remove any additional oil along with also any of the remainder of lotion that might possibly be in our pores. For the base, I'm going to use the pink that is from my Mehron palette, so that color there, which is the lighter pink. Now you could always use some lipstick or a pencil or anything along those lines, but keep in mind if it's oily, it's going to cause a problem with the Rigid Collodion fully and totally sticking, and it's not going to pull the skin in just as much. So using something like one of these colors in this palette is typically better because as soon as you put it on and as soon as it dries, it's going to be flat with the skin and it's not going to be oily. With a wet brush, I'm going to swipe that a couple of times, get some of that cosmetic on there. Perfect. And now I can start to draw that on where I want it to go. Now I want it to go right about, we'll say here. On here, and I'm leaving some areas that are a little bit thicker and some that are a little bit thinner. So I have a thicker area here, thicker area there, thinner up there, and then we'll get that to a really thin area there too. And that does look like it is pretty bright, so what you can always do is get that just a little bit more subtle. Well, that looks pretty good now. Now we can take our Rigid Collodion and start applying different layers. Every layer takes about a minute for it to dry, and it's going to slowly pull the skin in. So there is our first layer. Now, Rigid Collodion is great because it does stay on for a decent amount of time, but anywhere where there's a lot of movement, it's not really the best for. You also, too, want to avoid getting it onto your lips, your eyes, anywhere like that that has a really, really thin skin. Yes, it can be used on certain areas, but keep in mind it does draw the skin inwards. Usually putting something like Pros-Aid underneath or a barrier is the best if you're going to use it on certain portions of your body. Some cosplayers do end up using it on their lips, but I really do suggest not to do so, especially if you're going to put it on this side, that side, or anywhere there's a lot of movement on the lips. This is really delicate skin, so it's just not a good idea to typically do it. You can see that the skin is starting to draw in slightly already. And the way that I'm talking, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not going to disrupt it too much, or I'm going to break it up a bunch. If you wanted areas to pull in even more, instead of going over the entire bit of it, you could always put it in just certain areas. So say that you have this deeper area here, you could continue to layer it in that general area and it's going to pull that in slightly more than the rest of it. Layer 3 has dried and you can see that it is pulling the skin in pretty decently so far. I'm thinking I'm probably going to put about 5 layers onto this. So now onto layer 4. This is after 5 layers. It has really pulled the skin in a bunch. The only thing is it's really shiny now. So to get rid of that shine, we're going to need some powder. I'm going to brush on a decent amount of powder. It's going to help to take away some of the shininess of it. Then we can put concealer over it and also blend some of the color. Now we can put some foundation over it. This also too is going to help to remove a bit more of the shininess from it. After you have that down, then you can go back over it with more of the setting powder. Then if you want to add more detail to it, because there is still a bit of pink that was left from before, but it is partially concealed, you can always go in with more cosmetic. In this case, I'm going to use this here, and this is a light red, almost blush. It's kind of like marshmallowy, so it's really, really light. Some of the deeper areas, just to get a bit more depth in there. And just a little bit of color too. Then if you want to, you can go back over with some concealer and also some more powder. I'm just going to go back in with a little bit more powder just to subdue that a bit more. But perfect. There's what it looks like up close. Can really see that the skin is drawn in a bunch there, and it has really pulled the skin in. If I put my hand right next to it, you can actually see how it divots inwards and how it's pulled my skin in a bunch. This stuff is perfect for things like cosplay, Halloween, anything that you really want to go and do. Now comes the fun part, which is removing it. I'm using a little bit of lotion to hydrate my skin around it. This product works by pulling in the skin, so if you don't remove it properly, you might end up hurting yourself, and we don't want to do that. You can see that it's starting to peel up at the edge here, which is perfect. And I'm just going to put some more lotion underneath it, go in a circular motion, which will allow for me to remove it off slowly and carefully. Again, you might be tempted to just pull it. Please do not just pull it. You want to make sure you get it off properly, and usually it will come off in pieces that are like this, typically. But as you hydrate the skin around the area, it's easier to go and take off. Now to just clean the skin, and perfect. Thank you all so much for watching. There are more tutorials that are over on my profile. Take care, have a good one. Bye!